All right, let's talk about green smoothies. Why are they healthy? I don't think so. I regret drinking so many of those green smoothies. I actually had a recipe book with green smoothies in it. Like this was a big thing for me. What I've learned since I've been on the carnivore diet is that I made a big mistake by guzzling down those smoothies. Hi there. If you've not visited my channel before, my name is Sue, and I've been on carnivore diet now for coming up 21 months. And prior to carnivore, I have been vegan and I've been vegetarian. I was vegetarian for over a decade, and I was vegan solidly for a couple of years, and then I have been in and out of a vegan diet many times over the years since. And I spent a lot of years making juices and green smoothies. And the green smoothies is what I'm going to talk about today, because people ask if they're healthy. They're questioning, are green smoothies healthy? And a few years ago, even 2 years ago, I would have said, yeah, isn't they healthy? Now, no. And I regret drinking so many of those green smoothies. I actually had a recipe book with green smoothies in it. Like this was a big thing for me, the whole green smoothie thing and the juices. And I used to make all different types, and I'd put all these different superfoods and things in them. So some of my favorite things to throw in my smoothies was spinach, of course, like half a bag of spinach at a time. I would put in there, things like chia seed and almonds and goji berries and raspberries, or blackberries or strawberries, whatever berries I had. I would put cacao in them, and sometimes I'd use things like almond milk. I would sometimes put in, pea protein and those types of things. Some kind of sweetener, dates, I would often throw in them. Sometimes avocado to make them a bit creamier, and all of these different things. Now, what I didn't know, so back when I was doing this on a really regular basis, I had seen people questioning whether green smoothies were healthy, and they were talking about how the amount of produce that you can put into one smoothie and drink down, in a glass or two of this stuff, was way more than what you would consume, if you put it into a salad or whatever. But, my whole thought on the subject was more has to be better, right? If these things are good for you and healthy, then, getting more of them into your body, because, they haven't got a lot of calories or anything like that. Most of it anyway, the nuts do, but the spinach and all that sort of thing don't have a lot of calories, and so getting more in it's got to be good for you, right? What I've learned since I've been on the carnivore diet is that I made a big mistake by guzzling down those smoothies just every day pretty much for a very long time. And the reason for that is plant toxins, oxalates in particular. A little while before starting on carnivore, I realised that I had an issue with oxalates. And the reason that I had come to that conclusion was because I started to get vulvodynia, which, if you don't know what that is, it's really sore girly bits. And when it started happening, I thought, what's going on here? Why is this sore, And then did a bit of digging into information and found out that it was vulvodynia and that it was caused by oxalates. And so I started experimenting just to see if that is what it is, because it would come and go. And so I would eat, a lot of oxalate. I would eat, beetroot and stuff. And every time I had beetroot, pretty much, fresh beetroot, the vulvodynia would come back. And then I would leave it for a few weeks and it would go away. And then I'd have fresh beetroot again and it would come back. So I kind of realised that the vulvodynia was oxalates and that I had a problem. But I kind of didn't understand at that stage how much oxalate can actually affect your body and how much of it you can actually store in your body. So I had had decades of, pretty much a whole lifetime of really bad gut health, and I'd had decades of IBS diarrhea and leaky gut issues and all that goes with that, basically. And so I'd been kind of working on that off and on over the years, but only kind of ever getting so far with it and not ever really getting rid of it. And I kind of realised now that that was probably because of the amount of fibre and plant material that I was consuming. So now, almost 2 years into my carnivore diet, I've finally healed my gut up and got rid of my IBS diarrhea, and that was by doing a SIBO protocol along with the carnivore diet. But, you know, when I look back on the way that my diet was and everything that was going on with my gut health, the oxalate was just something that was obviously going to accumulate in my body. Now, when you are having green smoothies and if you're having lots of spinach or a lot of these leafy green vegetables, some of them are super duper high in oxalate. And so the spinach in particular, almonds is really bad. Raspberries and blackberries are really high. Avocado, if it's not ripe properly, can be really high in oxalate. There's so many foods within that kind of superfood, healthy, plant-based eating that are really high in oxalate. Cacao is another one. And so when you're making a smoothie and you're chucking all this stuff in there like I was, you've got something there that if you had 2 or 3 big lots of that a day, it could put you in hospital, because there is a upper level of oxalate because it's toxic to your body. And so when you're putting it in, your body's trying to manage that, and if you have too much, it can actually kill you. So there have been people that have died from oxalate poisoning, eating things like sorrel soup. And rhubarb is another thing that can be really high in oxalate. So when you're consuming too much of this on a regular basis and you're not giving your body a break, it's your body starts actually storing the oxalate in different areas of your body because it needs to get it out of your blood. And if it can't pass it out through your urine, then it's going to store it. And so what happens then when you stop eating oxalate is that your body eventually starts pulling it out your tissues. And so that's what's happened to me on the carnivore diet, and it's made me really realise how much damage I was doing to my body. So I am, as I said, almost 2 years into this way of eating, and I'm still dumping oxalate. That's what it's called, is oxalate dumping. And that is when your body starts pulling this oxalate out of your body. And so it'll pass it through your urine sometimes. So oxalate is a really common cause of kidney stones. It'll bind with calcium usually and can cause kidney stones. But when it's your body's dumping it, it can cause all sorts of problems. So for me, when I first started on carnivore, it caused my diarrhea to just get way worse. And I've done quite a lot of videos on that back further, so I won't go into detail, but if you want to go and check those out, you can. But for me, a lot of the oxalate, I think there was just so much that it was passing through my bowel, and it was not really stopping. I'd have patches where it would get a bit better, and then it would come on full bore again, and was pretty constant. Now, I've also had it irritating my bladder off and on. I have had oxalate come out of my breasts through my skin, and that's still happening. So oxalate is actually can cause breast cancer, and this is something that people just don't talk about. Doctors don't talk about it. Nobody really talks about it online, but there is research there that shows that oxalate crystals cause breast cancer. And so when I started having these crystals coming out of my breasts, I went looking for the research, and yeah, it was there. And so I've had lots of oxalate crystal. Now it's smaller and smaller pieces, but when it first happened, the first day that it happened, I had a whole lot of these crystals come out en masse, and some of them were 2 or 3 millimeters long, and they just looked like little quartz crystals. That's what they looked like. I've actually got some in a container somewhere, and I've got photographs of them. I did a video about that, so you can go back and watch that. Now I've also had oxalates coming out of my nose. I now know that the nosebleeds, I was getting nosebleeds every day, sometimes multiple times a day before I started on carnivore. And I now know that it was oxalate that was causing those. And I also, once the nosebleeds kind of settled down a little bit, I ended up with a patch inside my nose here. like right up inside here, that was really sore most of the time. It would kind of heal for a few days, and then it would come back again, and there was oxalate crystals coming through there. And it sounds crazy, but it is what happens. And my husband has had oxalate crystals coming through his skin on his face. I now have times when I'm oxalate dumping. It doesn't happen as much as it was, but I will have a couple of weeks where I'm okay, and then it might start again. And I just, like, lately I've been getting sore ankles, so the crystals, I think, are moving from my ankles, and I might have, my bladder gets really irritated, and I've got to keep going back to the toilet like I've got an infection, and sometimes I'll still get some come out of my nose. And I've also had this really bad itchy, lumpy, gnarly scalp, which is gradually getting better, and I think that that's to do with oxalate as well. So this is all stuff that's being caused by, or can be caused by, having green smoothies. And so when people ask, are green smoothies healthy? I'm like, no, don't go there, because you're just consuming so much of the spinach. I mean, if you put half a bag of spinach into a smoothie like I used to, that in itself is way more than the daily dose of oxalate that your body can handle. Way, way more. And then when you add all the other stuff, it's just wild. Even things like green tea and black tea have oxalate in them, black pepper. There's so many plants that have oxalate in them, but some of them are just really high, and when you're condensing them all into a liquid version that you're downing in a glass with, it's a recipe for disaster. So this is a video I've been thinking about doing for a little while. I just wanted to put that out there, my experience with this. I regret drinking those green smoothies for all of those years, and I wish I'd listened to the people that said, you shouldn't be putting that much stuff together because you couldn't consume that in a salad. And that's the thing, it's like even consuming it in a salad can cause oxalate buildup in your body, but put it in those green smoothies, you're just asking for trouble. So if you have any comments or questions, please pop those below. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe. I'll get to the comments and questions as soon as I can. I thank you very much for watching this. I'm sure that there are going to be some people that disagree with me on this, but this is my experience. This is what I've learned, and is my understanding now. And as I said, I'm about to turn 60 in a couple of days. If I had known this 20 years ago, I could have saved myself a whole lot of pain. So that's it for today. I thank you very much for watching, and I will talk to you again another day. Bye-bye for now.